What's up, YouTube? Dark got back again with the final video where I'll be doing Best Director and Best Picture for the Oscars. Getting right into it. Best Director, we have Damien Chazelle for La La Land, which he's getting a ridiculous amount of buzz, and it is worth it. I think he does a very good job. I mean, the opening scene alone is something amazing. I liked him in when he directed Whiplash. Though Whiplash was a really good movie. I think it was better than La La Land. But he does a good job, and he has two actors. Well, Emma Stone's kind of known as a good actress, but Ryan Gosling's kind of more for the eye candy for the women and everything, and he pulls a really strong performance out of him. And, you know, Best Director is a hard category to determine. Like, what are you going on? Are you going on how good the movie is, what he gets from the actors, the different shots? I mean, everything is kind of somebody else's job, but the director kind of oversees it all. So it's a little hard, like what your criteria for Best Director is. I do think he does a very good job in pulling good performances out of his actors and actresses, as well as formulating these scenes that are very encompassing with the musical numbers and everything. Also, second is Villeneuve for Arrival. Probably butchered his name. Another one that's like weird to judge, because like, what are you judging on? How good the movie is? Because I mean, it's an excellent movie. Are you judging on his performances with his people? Because he has better actors in his movies than Chazelle has. But I do think he pulls it together, and there's a lot of cool touches on the film that I think he does bring a very good twist on, I guess would be the choice word. Third, we have Mel Gibson for Hacksaw Ridge. And I mean, one of my favorite movies ever is Braveheart, directed by Mel Gibson. And this is return to form for him. You know, this is him with this big epic piece, these fights, these battles. And he just does a very good job of it. Very gory movie. And Andrew Garfield is very good in it. And the surprising one is Vince Vaughn is against type, and he does a really good job. He's better in this than he was in True Detective Season 2. So, I mean, that shows you what Mel Gibson pulled out of him. You have Kenneth Lonergan for Manchester by the Sea. Very straightforward movie. Nothing really crazy, but every scene is just full of emotion, and that is one thing I think he was able to capture. He captures the people's how they're feeling and everything, how everybody is kind of hurt and broken in this movie, and he does a really good job with that. I mean, his acting core is excellent. I mean, Michelle Williams is I think this might be her third nomination. Casey Affleck is pulled a really good performance out of him, and then he had the newcomer Hedges, who was really good. You know, a lot of good shots, a lot of good emotionally wrought scenes that he brought to. Third is Barry Jenkins for Moonlight. Now, Moonlight I think is excellent, and the way that he was able to craft the three storylines all to flow into each other, so you see this character evolve over time, and the lessons he's taught in the beginning, he's able to adapt and use when he's older, and I think it's a very good job. And there's really no known big actors. I mean, the biggest actor and actress in this would probably be Mahershala Ali and Monet. I forget, I just blanked on her first name for some reason. That's his biggest actor and actress, and they're not even that really big. And then Mahershala Ali got nominated, and another name slipping me, the mother of Little, who got nominated for the Best Supporting Actress. And I think Jenkins was very good at crafting these actors and actresses to portray these roles, and just how bleak it is. But this kid has this little glimmer of hope, light at the end. Now this is one of the big awards that I know who everybody feels is the front runner, and that's Damien Chazelle, and I think he's going to win the award. But I think Mel Gibson should win the award because of the grand scope of things. But Mel Gibson has a very, you know, he has a black X across them. I mean, I'm even shocked that he got nominated, and I think that's kind of his win in this award, is being nominated. The dark horse for this award is Jenkins, because I think Jenkins has a a shot at actually winning it, especially if Moonlight gets a real good push. He'll have a big shot of winning this award. That's best director. I don't think there's a snub either with best director or best picture. I don't think that there's a snub. I think they kind of got it right. So now going on to the big award, best picture. So not every year the best movie is best picture. So I'm hoping this year we actually do get a best picture that is the best movie. I mean, there's 9 good movies here. First, going in Arrival. Arrival is just such a fantastic piece of what actually would happen if humans met aliens, and how the different cultures in humanity would fight each other at different points of view, and some would trust the aliens and some wouldn't. And it's a very amazing how they brought out more humanity in a science fiction movie that most likely will never happen in this world unless you believe in aliens. And they were able to craft this movie that just feels realistic of what would transpire in a situation like that. Really solid acting performances all around, and one of the best twists of a film that's up for a best picture award like this. Just when you get the twist, it's a little freaky, but it adds that whole sci-fi element, and it just makes everything a lot better in my mind. Second, we have Fences. Fences was similar in vein to a lot of films that are going to be nominated for this best picture, in that it was just a punch to the gut. I mean, going in, I thought it was one film, and I came out totally seeing something else. And Denzel did a masterful job directing and acting, as did Viola Davis. And it's just all around very good performances. It did feel a little bit like a play in a movie. I mean, it obviously was a play first. Did have a little bit of that feel, kind of like other big movies like Streetcar Named Desire felt like a play when you first see it. But again, another great movie. Third up, we have Hacksaw Ridge, which, I mean, story-wise, it's just such a bonkers story. I mean, World War II, and this guy doesn't want to use a weapon, and but he still wants to be a soldier, and just his whole fight, and it kind of has the same similar setup to Full Metal Jacket in my mind, where in the beginning it's the training and everything that they go through, and then the second half is the actual war, and that they're not prepared for it. And this has some of the best, most gory, realistic looking fight scenes that I can only imagine it would happen in World War II. I memean, when they get up onto Hacksaw Ridge and they see the blood and the gore everywhere, it's just a shock to humanity that happened. And I mean, it's a very good movie, very good story to tell. Like I said, I think Gibson did an amazing directing it. Garfield was amazing in it. Vaughn was amazing in it. Very good movie. Fourth is Hell or High Water, which is a cool little kind of like crime / western / same vein as No Country for Old Men. You got this old sheriff and his partner hunting these 2 robbers and everything, and it's a really good movie. I think in a weaker year would have a shot. I don't think with the films that are up this year it really has a shot. It does, however, have one of the coolest back and forth between 2 characters, with the scene with the cop and one of the robbers talking, and just towards the end of the film, and it's just them going back and forth about like closure and everything. And it just, when you see it, it's just like, wow, it's just such a really good scene. And you see why Jeff Bridges was nominated. Fifth, we have Hidden Figures, which is probably one of the most important films nominated, just because of the story of the 3 African-American scientists / mathematicians that worked for NASA that really got no coverage ever. Like, I never knew about this. I mean, the fact that the woman that basically helped get us jump-started our space race program was an African woman who at first wasn't even allowed to share the bathroom with the white people that she was doing more work than. And all around, just amazing performances. Amazing movie from beginning to end. And just one of these films that, like, it later on it's going to resonate more. Like, it might not win, but I have a feeling this is going to be one of the films that comes out of here as being better than the winner, depending what the winner is. Sixth is La La Land, which I've said in my previous videos. I was not a fan of. It was okay at best in my mind. I mean, I get the whole musical score, I get the whole scene, but the whole ending to me just was very convoluted, and I just expected more. Like I said, last year or 2 years ago, I love Whiplash, so I thought we were going to get something in the same vein, and this just didn't fit that bill. It wasn't as good. It wasn't even. It's a lot of love by the press and the Academy because of the ties to Hollywood, but for me, nah, I just didn't care for it. Then we have Lion, which is another one of these punch to the gut movies. A lot of them this year, and this is no exception. And this has a little bit of a following going, and a little bit of strength and voice behind it. The story is amazing. I mean, it's just a crazy story that's a true story, and it's sad at times, it's happy at times, and it's a roller coaster throughout the whole film. And it's just another one of these films that I think later on is going to get a little bit more push to up to the upper echelon of the nominated films. Then we have Manchester by the Sea, which I think was the early frontrunner, and I think kind of got overtaken. And I think it fell a bit throughout the voting for the other awards and everything. And really good film, another punch in the gut film, and it just. Acting performances are amazing in it. I mean, all around. Even Casey Affleck at first, I was like, oh, this ain't nothing. And then when you get to that big reveal scene, you realize what everything before meant. And it just comes out of nowhere. And it just, excellent film. The last film is Moonlight. Now, Moonlight, I've said, to me, is the most powerful film I've seen in years. And I think it's the most powerful film nominated. Just a telling of this kid's life and everything from childhood to adulthood. And the Mahershala Ali's scenes are just these steel scenes. He just steals everything because of how good he is and how just amazing he is, and it's just realistic, and it's just such a phenomenal movie. I mean, this is gonna be like, I think, the one film that comes out of this that everybody's gonna talk about. I don't think a lot of people are seeing it prior to the awards, which is, I think, gonna hurt it. But when they do see it, they're gonna be like, wow. So, big awards for my breakdown. Who do I think will win the award? I hate to say this. I think La La Land's going to win it. I'm not a fan of it, but it just has so much backing from Hollywood. It just is loved everywhere. Every show you turn on, they talk about La La Land and how amazing it is. For me, it just wasn't. Who I want to win is Moonlight. Moonlight was the best movie that I've seen probably all year last year. And I actually saw it this January, but it's the best movie of 2016 that I've seen. Acting performances that are pulled out of it. The third act does slow down a little bit and gets a little different, but you realize that that's them showing that this kid knows what he needs to know, and his life has changed around for the better. He's a stronger human being and everything. My dark horse is Hidden Figures. Just something about it. I think at the last minute it was getting a little bit of a push, and I just have this feeling that if it does overtake La La Land and Moonlight isn't up there, that Hidden Figures is going to walk away with it. And it's a deserving winner because I think when all is said and done, the three films that are going to come out of this that are going to be like the future best films like that they're talked about from this year are going to be Hidden Figures, Moonlight, and Hacksaw Ridge, actually. I think those are going to be the three, and I think they're going to push La La Land aside. La La Land just has that like Chicago